Remember how I said, I'm going to put this out there into the world, where I said that how do you fix Thanos, where you take the two best cards in it, make it worse for Thanos, but better for other decks. So my nomination was a 6/10 for Mockingbird and a 4/9 for Cull Obsidian. And Mockingbird also has a minimum of 1. Okay? Now, I just looked at my browser tabs. And I see my X Twitter browser tab, and it shows 37 comments. Let's go see what they have to say. This is always fun. Woohoo! All right, Marvel Snap Twitter. Unshankable Cull, isn't this making him stronger? I know it does make him stronger, but it doesn't make him stronger in Thanos. It makes him stronger in every other deck. That's the point. He gets weaker in Thanos because you play him either way, because now he's a 4/9. The issue with every other card getting nerfed because of Thanos. This is Loki all over again. We want the same cards to be powerful in non-Thanos decks, and nerfing them makes them impossible, especially with Mockingbird. Incorrect. A 6/10 Mockingbird means that you cannot play Mockingbird down on turn 3. Doesn't work out. You have to have perfect curve. You have to draw 3 stones. You know what the chances of doing that are? Very low. Very, very low. Versus now, getting it down is even easier. Plus, you can still also play stones additional to it. Not as good. Solid change for Mockingbird, but it makes her a Thanos-only card, which sucks. Disagree. 6/10 in Patriot, she's still fantastic. There's like a Buffalo call since you're Shang safe, unless that's the point, pairing these changes together. Yes, exactly. Right. See, you get it, Maverick. You get it. I wouldn't like Mockingbird or Cull to take strays for Thanos personally. Mockingbird, considering she can slot into more archetypes, it feels like anyway. Exactly. I think so. How do you? I mean, this is my own commenting list, so that's how I'm looking at it. Are they changing Mockingbird? No, they're not, but I made a proposal for one. Leave both as are, but adding except Infinity Stones to their text, or rework Thanos. Force him to play a stone as a first card, if any, in hand. Ooh, that's an interesting change. Force him to play a stone if you have any in hand. Ooh, that's interesting. Thanos is tough. Mockingbird seems fairly balanced outside of Thanos. I overall agree. However, I do think Mockingbird needs to be stronger in other decks, which is why I brought her to 6/10. Because you still get her out for ridiculously cheap. I had similar thought for Mockingbird. I think increasing her cost will only hurt non-Thanos decks trying to utilize her. All of the decks that do utilize her, though, at 10 power, I think that would utilize her at a 6/10. By the time you're always looking to play Mockingbird anyway, you're always looking to combo it with other cheaper things anyway. So I think it actually wouldn't hurt it. 9 power, Chaos, my man, who got me the card back from PAX East. 9 power would make him better because he's out of Shang-Chi range. I think that the two balancings together, I'm not sure. Unnerfing Werewolf by Night, Ms. Marvel, and Annihilus. Why are people constantly complaining about Thanos? He is good, and a lot of people brought him up. Okay. Yeah, well, I bought Mockingbird because he works with Thanos. I would be upset if they removed it. Well, I mean, you showed your favoritism towards Thanos either way. So that makes it a harder argument to me. Just stop the stones from drawing cards, except for the Mind Stone. They have enough utility on their own. Given that it's an 18 card deck in a 6-round game, you have to have more than one stone draw cards. You have to. It doesn't have to be 4 of them. Maybe the answer is 2 or 3, but it shouldn't be 1. Mockingbird suddenly gets better in Scar Kyera lists because now she's stronger. Discounts Scar and is immune with Kyera. And Cull is safe from Shang. I mean, Cull being safe from Shang, that is the point. Let me make that clear. That's why I'm dropping it down. It's just like Mockingbird. Mockingbird's safe from Shang, but you can't nerf both cards. You have to find the balance between the two. So you're giving one and taking from the other. The Scar Chimera list, that is a good point, though. That's the first one who brought up something really interesting. I think Mockingbird feels realistic. I'm not sure about Cull Obsidian. I like this change to Cull, but 4-7, 4-8, or 3-7, maybe even 3-7. Cull to 4-7 or 4-8. Then you're putting that in Crossbones territory. I don't know if that's the same. In my opinion, Mockingbird should not be reduced by stones. I disagree. I think Mockingbird should reduce with the stones. It just needs to be harder for decks that organically have. Okay, so put it this way, right? If you run a straight Thanos deck with no other 1-drops, that means 6 out of your 18 cards are 1-drops, right? That's a third of your deck. The equivalent to getting Mockingbird or Cull Obsidian to have a reduction in a standard 12-card deck means you'd have to play how many 1-drops? 4. You'd have to put 4 1-drops into your deck to make that happen. That's not okay. That's not balanced. By having the stone reduction, there has to be a penalty for playing that card for cheaper. The penalty is that it's Shang-Chiable. That's why. How about Cull Obsidian 410? You can only play this at a location you played a 1-cost card at last turn. Ooh. The last turn restriction is interesting. If you played a card, 1-cost card here last turn. Last turn. I have to think about that, but that's an interesting change to Cull Obsidian. Because it keeps him what he is, but evolves him simultaneously. Yeah, exactly. It removes the Squirrel Girl play. That might be my favorite version. I might still argue the 4-9 even with that, but I think the 4-10 with that is very interesting. Like 4-10 with that ability comboed forces certain things. But actually, you know what? No, hold on. The one counter to that I'll make is one of the perks of Cull Obsidian is being able to play Cull Obsidian on turn 5 with a 1-drop. If you make it a straight up limited window at 4-10, like Crossbones, you have to be winning the lane at 4-8. With Cull Obsidian being a 4-10, you have to play a 1-drop on the turn before it, which means small ball exclusively. I don't know. Like, thinking more about that specific mechanic of Cull Obsidian is the hardest part to me. How does it work with that? You have to sacrifice that. And I think if you remove that aspect, excuse me. I think if you remove that aspect to it, I'm not sure if I like it as much. I get the weakened Thanos part, but fail to see the more viable index part. These changes make them even worse in every deck too. Am I missing something? Well, this is why we're having the conversation here like this. Call it 4-8. I don't think gets anywhere close to the same amount of play, but people will still play it, which is why I was testing the Crossbones decks earlier. Rebrand the stones into tokens with the same on-reveals and ongoings abilities, but still interactable for destroy, buffs, debuffs, move, bounce. Wait, what? What is changing the stones into tokens? They are tokens. I don't get that. If they made Cull Obsidian a 5-8, be never played. You just play Vision. Spider-Woman. 10 times better. Funny how everyone on X is suddenly a game designer. I'm not a game designer. I just have an opinion. Jesus. Oh, here we go. I love these. Dude, stop crying. I hate this generation of gamers. Y'all are just bad and can't adapt. I wish we'd seen the game back. Back in the 2000s with no patches and no bullshit, nerf this and nerf that, then get nerfed, and then a week later, y'all crying about the next good strategy. I love those who also always think that everything's an attack. It's a conversation piece. Oh, PR. Okay, you're options trading expert. Oh, okay. Here we go. And I don't give a fuck. Anyway, like the Mockingbird adjustments in Shang-Chi range, hard to discount. Cull, like Chaos Pro said, being out of Shang-Chi range makes him stronger. Again, finding the exactly, Lori. Wow. But it's fun. Like you gotta love trolls. I love trolls. They're fun. Because guess what? I at least put my face on the screen. Nothing about this solution makes them more viable in other decks and weakens Thanos. Patriot deck gets stronger. The ability to run a 4/9 that doesn't get Shang-Chi'd in other decks with 1-cost cards is a win. Okay? Dalek, this is exactly what I'm basically getting to, right? So, Cull being out of Shang-Chi range has to be done for 2 reasons. Number 1, it's balance, right? You would want to balance the Cull Obsidian change with a Mockingbird change simultaneously. That's what I would want to do. So I don't think that their power necessarily is an issue. I think that their power in the deck, that is, I think their power on those specific cards being flip-flopped detracts the idea of wanting to play them together in the same Thanos deck. Because you then end up in a position of you want to play one or the other. You want to play into playing the stones out as much as possible and getting that Mockingbird synergy. Or if you are playing the 4/9, you don't even need the the Mockingbird synergy necessarily, because you can go back to a different kind of ramp. You can build into the ramp side a little bit more without the worry of Shang-Chi, because the 4/9 feeds into that just like how Mockingbird does currently. The problem is Mockingbird gets too consistently down to 0/9. 0/9 is not good for the game. That's not good for the game. 0/10, better, because you can still Shang-Chi it. 1/10 means that you can't play it on the final turn unless if there's a cheat. Now at 1/10, you make it Shang-Chi-able, and it most likely has to come down on turn 5. So I like that. Who plays Cull and Patriot? I do. Cull and Patriot is much better. Cull and Bounce is very good. Cull and Zoo is incredibly good. 100%. Couldn't you have the same argument with Abomination and High Evolutionary? Absolutely you could. However, you have to do it at the sacrifice of playing Evolutionary in your deck. So you're losing 8% of your deck to be able to get the effect that you want. That 8% is a big deal. You're sacrificing a better draw. Ruining Mockingbird to nerf Thanos is wrong. It doesn't ruin Mockingbird. Think about a Patriot build that plays Mockingbird. The next overall best deck that plays Mockingbird. In her current format, minimum 1. You could still play Blue Marvel plus Mockingbird on the final turn and have it be no problem. You could still play Squirrel Girl, do the full Mockingbird build. Squirrel Girl goes down. She now becomes a 4/10 on turn 2. Turn 2, let's say you go Mr. Sinister. Awesome. Mr. Sinister goes down. She's now a 3/10. That should be the only potential play. But then the sacrifice is if you have her down to 3/10 and you play her down on turn 3, you've left yourself open for 3 turns to be Shang-Chi'd. So there's a cost and balance here. No, they're not nerfing Mockingbird. I'm just talking about my proposal. Gunny. Can we just nerf guest gaming? This is my favorite answer yet. There he is. Wow, we got lots of followers from that one. Oh, wait, no. I'm getting followers from my I'm looking for artists post. People already writing and writing and writing and commenting and stuff. That's funny. Anyway, there he is. Good man, Gutty. Good man. Yeah. So this was the proposal to post. Woohoo! $6,000 in conversation. Oh, this is great. By the way, Jag felt like an appropriate time to celebrate. I do. I think so too. But yeah, I think this opens up an interesting conversation because it also is getting people to talk about it, right? This is my proposal. And I love those who are here talking about it. So I appreciate you doing this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to take this whole conversation here. I'm just going to take it with my explanations and everything and probably put it up on YouTube as its own video. You know? Because it's interesting seeing how people start to think about it differently. Where, like, different people have different opinions of, like, when you're looking at it from the perspective of a Thanos player versus when you're taking a look at it from the perspective of like a general game, like overall game perspective, right? I'm not looking at it, nor am I ever going to claim that I am a game designer. However, this is my proposal, and I've explained why. So, if you like it, let me know. If you don't, let me know down below. I'm not complaining, not whining, opening a conversation. Just remember to keep it at that. So I will say the most appropriate things I will call out though from my proposal here that I added. Okay, number one, the comment. Who was it? Hang on. Okay, so the Chimera. Wait, no, it wasn't this one. Please never cook again. All right, unfollow me. I don't care. It was the one that talked about specifically the Cull, not Cull, the Scar Chimera synergy with Mockingbird. That was the best point so far, though, to talk about that. I was quite okay with that because that is a very good argument to say that maybe that isn't the strongest synergy. Yes, someone actually memed, boring. Yeah, just give the stones a card slot like Infinity Gauntlet. That way you need 2 slots for Thanos. Okay, so I've heard this type of conversation come up before, several times, of like, the stones should count as positions in the deck. And I get what they're saying, that in a way they should. But to do that for 1 slot makes a 17-card deck. It actually ends up probably causing the backwards problem. It actually makes the deck better because you're super limiting what the deck can do. You're thinning the deck, right? It's like the America Chavez syndrome all over again. The thinner the deck, the better. So I don't know if that's a good idea to make it its own thing personally. Cull should lock out the location. Ooh. So it's kind of like an Ebony Maw effect. I could see that. I don't like the Mockingbird ability should start to activate after turn 1. That's pushing it. Yeah, and the conversation of also like accept Infinity Stones. Like I know KM Best, for example, has also had a very similar conversation. That all of those who just say accept Infinity Stones, that doesn't fix the problem. Making cards say accept Infinity Stones identifies that Thanos is its own unique problem. And when you start having cards come out that are targeted to specifically be anti-synergetic with other individual cards, you end up in this awful place, game design-wise, where now you have to try to figure out what interactions should be limited 1-to-1. And as cards continue to come on out, well, do we need to put an asterisk on so-and-so card that it doesn't work with so-and-so because it's too broken? That doesn't work for how Marvel Snap is designing its cards and its game. That's anti-synergetic to what they've been creating and aligning themselves for. I don't like that idea because it should be, it works all over the board, whatever that ends up being. But the Accept Infinity Stones line only heightens the awareness that this deck is that good. This card is that good. I don't think that fixes anything. Yeah, the consistency, exactly, Buffalo. Like, the consistency is incredibly important here. Hello, Twitch viewers on ItsGuestGaming stream. Ideas that are too OP. Cull is just better at 9. It just buffs Thanos. It's exclusively those two to balance each other. And let me go back. Like the Mockingbird adjustments, being out of Shang-Chi range makes him stronger. It makes him stronger. But more importantly, it makes him stronger in other decks. Cull Obsidian needs to be in other decks besides Thanos. And 4/9 makes him more appealing in a lot of other small play decks. At 4/10, people are not running him in Bounce. They're not running him in Zoo because he's Shang-Chi-able. That's the issue. That's exactly the issue. It makes him stronger in all the other decks, but weaker because he's down a point in your Thanos deck. Now, if you want that point back, you have to deal with the harder to get Mockingbird. That's exactly the point. Oh, these are fun. You guys are great. Yeah, I'm saving this. I'm going to post this up later. So if you liked this conversation, you like these types of conversations, and again, two-way conversation here with chat and everybody, look, y'all are great. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, you know all the fun stuff. If you're watching on Twitch, you're going to be here anyway, but I'm definitely clipping this for a YouTube video because it's a very interesting conversation. And I love how passionate people are about it. Really. Very much so. I'm not even going to edit out, like, me banning the guy just because I'm a whiny streamer. Wow.